Well, here's a little video with my HobbyKing epp fpv plane. You haven't seen for a little while. And this is my SkyWalker, which I've been flying the most lately. I just kind of wanted to do a few comparisons between the two. Let's start with the HobbyKing plane. It's super durable. You can't beat it for strength. It's probably a really good beginner FPV plane because it flies a lot slower. Especially with a little dihedral in the wing, it's quite stable. Makes a good camera platform if you're just putting a camera on it. It probably requires a little bit more power to push it through the sky, and it's got a few, I guess, design defects. One being the fuselage is quite large, but inside it's quite narrow, and I think they probably could have thinned out the walls a little bit more and give you a little bit more room inside the fuselage. It's not bad if you're just using it as a camera platform, but for FPV it's pretty darn cluttered inside of there to fit. I use eagle tree stuff, and with the FY20A it's completely stuffed. But the pros, it's a tough bird. If you've seen any of my videos, you've seen it crashed, and that was a severe crash. It went straight in at, I don't know, 50 miles an hour. I think that the last reading on the GPS was right on its nose, and with a little bit of hot glue and stuff, it's not as pretty as it once was, but it's flying. The tail is, I found, quite durable. I've flown it in the snow, and it's hit snowbanks and stuff. There's a few little chips along the edge, but as far as the underneath, it's fine. I do have a piece of foam underneath here, just so that it's riding up 1.5 inches or so off the ground. And with the tail modification that I did by enlarging it, makes it fly much better. I've had a few people email me and tell me that if you raise the back of the wing or lower the front of the wing, it helps too. I haven't tried that one. I can't verify that it works or doesn't work. But all in all, for $69, you can't really go too far wrong if you want to do a little bit of modification to it, especially if you're just getting into the hobby, because you can fly it quite slow, and as long as it's not windy, it doesn't like a lot of wind. Because of the side area on the front and stuff, it's not very aerodynamic. It's not that bad of a plane. It really, I don't regret buying it. I've had a lot of fun with it. But anyways, let's do some pros and cons on this SkyWalker. On the pros, it's fast. It's pretty stable. I do have stabilization in it, which when you're flying FPV makes a huge difference. It uses less power to cruise along, you know, at a pretty decent speed. It's got a lot more area for accessories inside. Having the side hatch, which you probably could do on the HobbyKing airplane, is a great idea for access into there. Plus there's probably double the space in the front for batteries and such, so you can actually move them around for balance and stuff. On the downside, the T-tail, which works well because it stays up out of the grass and stuff on landing, is prone to breaking off on you know, a fumbled landing or catching on something. It's got a weak point right there, and it's not the end of the world. I thought about reinforcing it with a piece of carbon fiber that ran down through the top, but then I thought, well, then I might be breaking it down here or something like that, because I've actually broke it off twice. And it's not a big deal. A little hot glue, and 3-4 minutes of your time and it's back together, and it's great. And just one note on the hot glue, it's never broken in the same spot twice, so it's not the hot glue letting go. The wings have I believe it's called polyhedral on the wingtips, much like a glider, which makes it stable. The spar, there's 2 spars that come out to about here on the wing. So the center section is very stiff, but the tips aren't. There's a lot of flex, and they've even put a tiny carbon fiber spar in the outer part of the wing. Like I said, I have had a minor crash with this thing, and I did break this wing right off. There's the mark. Busted the spar, snapped it clean. I just re-glued it, put a new spar in, lined it up. Everything was good. It wasn't the end of the world. It flies just fine now. But what I've done is I've taken the reinforced packing tape, and I've put probably about 4 pieces to reinforce it for stress. So when the wing's stressing, I've noticed if I know they're not meant to dive and do aerobatics or anything like that, but even you know, kind of a sharp pull up or something like that, the wing does flex quite a bit. The packing tape makes a huge difference. I really think it's a great design, but they could use a little more carbon fiber in it. And if you're building it, I think it's probably worth your time to maybe either put carbon fiber or put a bit of packing tape right from the start. I've put packing tape underneath on both of these airplanes for the skid. It's that fiberglass reinforced stuff that's really strong, and it keeps them from getting beat up on the bottom. I've landed on gravel and dirt and you name it, and it's fine. So those are a few negative things, but overall it's a nice plane. It flies well. You get good flight times with I've got a 4-cell 5000 milliamp in there, and I have a Turnigy 3548 1100 with a 9.4 prop, which is probably more motor than I need, because I usually don't fly more than about maybe 1 notch over half throttle. So you definitely could get away with a smaller motor than what I have. And then I have, which at first I didn't think was a great idea, but now I've come to I've changed my mind. Having the video transmitter back here out of harm's way is not a bad idea. I ended up damaging my video transmitter, my 900 megahertz. It never even hit anything. It was still attached to the Velcro, but it damaged it and it's not working now, so I have to get a new transmitter for that one. All in all, I would probably say that they're both reasonably good airplanes. They're not perfect. Depends what you want. This SkyWalker is going to give you a lot more range because of the speed. You could easily fly it. I don't know. I think I cruise around in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range usually at half throttle. You could probably, I think I've had it, my maximum speed that I've seen on my screen was about 60 miles an hour, something like that. So it can fly fairly fast. It's probably could, I could probably push it a little faster than that even. Now this thing, I don't think you could push it to 60 miles an hour. I mean, you could, but realistically it would take huge power to push this thing to 60 miles an hour. So it's more of a stay in close and just have fun with. And again, I fly both of them with my HobbyKing, or not HobbyKing, high-tech, a Aurora 9, great radio. So that's it.